Today we're going to perform a repair that's a common breakage on an Andis Master. We're going to look at the adjustment arm that controls the position of the blade for fading. And when we move that arm, we would expect that the blade would slide just in the fashion that we're seeing here. I've gone ahead and taken a blade off of one, but we look here, when I move the arm, the plate really is not moving underneath it. This plate here is free and the arm is broken loose. So what we need to do to replace or repair that is we're going to go ahead and take our number 1 Phillips screwdriver. I'm going to back out the screws that hold the base plate. I should call it's a slide plate. Take it out of the way so we can observe what's underneath. We take that slide plate out and the 4 screws. There's our screws. We can see that we have the arm moves and there's this pin right up in here that's moving with it. Well, in the service part, it's called the ball pin, there's actually a head on top that's going to engage the slide plate, and that's broken off in this case. So in order to remove that, first we're going to take and cycle the arm 180 degrees to its normal location. I'm going to take a nail set. You could use any small tool, like you could use a small drill bit or screwdriver possibly. The nail set works nice. You can see it's almost got that all the way out, and there's the piece that broke away. Alright, you can we'll lay them up here next to each other, and you can observe one that's in good condition and one where the top is broken off. So we have to make sure we find that each time. We do not want that floating around inside the clipper once we're done. We're going to move the arm back to its natural position here. It's got a spring behind it, so we're going to push that over so the hole's exposed. And we're going to get our new pin set in place. Now there's different ways to now drive this on down into the correct height, because we have to adjust that. One, we could get a tool such as this, where the hole is already bored to the correct depth. You can see I can take the pin, I drop it inside, push it down, and that's going to drive in at the correct elevation, so that when we put this in, we smash it down, and we tap it with our hammer. Go over here. That ends up flush and tight, and the height of our pin is now going to match our base plate when we go to reinstall it. And what we're looking for is that when the base plate's pushed down, the top of the head of the pin is flush with our slide plate. Now if we don't have that fancy tool, we can do the same thing by getting our pin started and then just tapping it with the hammer until we bring it down to the correct elevation. And that's how we traditionally have always done it before we had that tool. But again, if it's down too low, the downside to that is that when we move the arm, we cycle it, the pin can actually slide out of this hole that it's engaging on the slide plate. If it's too high, it can extend above the plate here on the top, and the comb blade will rub against it as you try to move the arm. It's going to make it real uncomfortable. Once we have that in place and the right height, we'll put our slide plate back on, small tab to the back as far as our stop, and we'll engage our screws, and we're ready to put the blade back on.